I am genuinely shooketh by just how much I have enjoyed using this thing. It is, of course, the latest in foldable from Samsung. And it's the first time they've done one of these different, more unusual styles of displays. It's a 4:3 display, very unusual aspect ratio. It's kind of like a passport.
This review brought to you by the Poetry Society of America. Just kidding. The Galaxy Z Fold 8 hit the streets this past week, and
8 Ultra, it feels relatively the same. Like, you probably wouldn't even know that you've picked one or the other up. Obviously, the colors are different, but the feel itself is
the new Galaxy Z Fold 8, Samsung's 8th iteration of their flagship folding smartphone, and it's a really important device for one specific reason. This new version of Samsung's Fold is
in as many categories as possible, bigger numbers for the total megapixels of resolution of the camera, bigger batteries, higher benchmarking scores, and don't get me wrong,
Tall and skinny one that you'll find in the Fold 8 Ultra, which to be fair does come with more features and isn't that much more expensive. For example, it gets better cameras than what this gets, but still, this really does
buttons you ever need to press over here to the right-hand side. Every single function is reachable with one hand on the screen. And it's funny, the viewfinder, it almost kind of looks like it's cut off at first until you realize that's just
one of the only foldable phones that has truly felt like a phone. It's only 201 grams. This thing is light. For context, it's not far off my iPhone 17 Pro Max. In fact, what does
It's also thinner and it's more squared off, and it's just a different execution than those past phones. So as a result, this thing is way better than a normal smartphone at a bunch of stuff, but it turns out that comes with—
well, it's crazy thin. It's only 9.7 millimeters when folded and a pretty insane 4.5 millimeters thin when unfolded, and this significantly helps with comfort as it doesn't feel like you're carrying.
And a lot of people have been concerned about how wide it actually is. Is it easy to reach across it? I don't have very large hands, and I can reach that Q key just fine to type. And
they do have a better water and dust resistance rating. Cameras, again, good, familiar. The ultra-wide camera, 50 megapixels, great. That's something that we
also pairs nicely with the anti-reflective coating that really helps mitigate smudges and fingerprints that folding displays are prone to. And generally speaking, this is a phenomenally put together, complex device.
Anti-reflective display, a double cheat, because it does a good job of being anti-reflective anyway. And then it does a good job of reflecting your eyes from whatever the crease is, even though the crease feels better.
So you can see just the difference in the way that these two creases look. Now, I'm not somebody that really has a problem with the crease in general. I don't really care. But from a technical level, just the achievement of this
configuration, the outer screen comes in at a squat 10:16 aspect ratio, giving users a 5.5-inch screen that is quite a deviation from the traditionally taller 16:9 form factor.
Fun fact, this plays back widescreen videos bigger than the Ultra does. Turns out 4:3 is, I mean, it's more widescreen than a square, so it's slightly bigger for media.
And you can see we're going to be losing quite a bit more content on the Fold 7 or Fold 8 Ultra versus the Fold 8. But I think something that maybe isn't appreciated enough is the fact that if you're watching that same—
if you want to watch your content like that, you just can't. And look, to be fair, using that flex mode is only really useful to me on like a plane if I want to kind of prop it up and watch something while I'm eating my—
probably the main reason why this form factor is pretty great. All you have to do is flip the phone horizontally and it makes consuming scrollable content so much better. This makes it feel a lot more like the mini tablet Samsung.
Fine, it's just kind of inconvenient or makes like some awkward black bars on the sides or a bunch of blank space. But also sometimes it means apps are critically broken. Like when I try to play cross—
and again, all the reasons why those things are true apply to this. When you start opening real tablet applications like LumaFusion, you start
device, because this is where, if you're going to call it Ultra, right? I will go back to the years before where it was just a Z Fold 7, a Z Fold 6, sure, no problem. But once you put
making those filters again and sort of taking, again, photos that I think look quite good, 1x and 2x pretty darn solid. Now, yes, when you start getting into 3x and further, it does
it off. If you're just using the normal 1x camera, it can make things look a little bit, blobby. The main wide camera has like a focal length of 23 or 24 millimeters. That's quite a wide angle lens, and then that is sick. So when you take a selfie, God, that was a bit slow. What's going on? Oh, it's frozen. Of course that happens as I'm trying to film the review on it. Look, to be fair, that hasn't happened before.
Now you can still use the back cameras for selfies using the front screen as a monitor, which dramatically improves the selfie quality, but it is a bit cumbersome using the phone in this way, especially when all you want is
I'm going to bed with some battery in reserve, and that's taking photos, that's answering emails, that's watching videos, that's being home on Wi-Fi, yes, but also
especially with my use case of this, is that the battery life has been really good on the Z Fold 8 Ultra. And also, there's more room to add more with this.
When you do want a more engaging, immersive user experience, the 7.6 inches of AMOLED glory this phone has does pack quite a punch. If you're a big video consumer, watching full-screen YouTube videos is way
to sit up and use its height to align. Like a lot of in-car chargers just don't work. And there's no built-in magnets in the phone, so it makes a lot of chargers I used to rely on sadly not.
Wirelessly charging this thing because it really does require a Qi 2 magnet compatible case, because obviously in this thing it's so thin it doesn't have it. I mean, check out the USB-C port on that. The USB
Bluetooth on the S Pen, well, they don't call it the S Pen, but the AI pen or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
You can use it on the front display, you can use it on the main display, because remember, Samsung has never.
You're just not. And obviously the speaker quality is not great either. And I say obviously because it's so small. There's, barely any space for one speaker, let alone two. But it truly has just been a real
try. But it definitely can get a little bit warm when you're out there with that max brightness just blasting away and it's warm outside. Something to kind of just be aware of. To be clear, I'm not talking about
just have something like what Oppo's doing. And then that way, if somebody does want an S Pen, they just buy the case, boom, job done. Easy. Let's figure that out. Anyway, I'm not going to rant any more about this section.
Displays, vapor chambers, and cameras are all smaller because the thin and light feel in the hand turns out makes a really big difference to make me look forward to taking this phone out of my pocket and using it.
So that will bring the price down a little bit. Unfortunately, nothing for the US. So Samsung US, we've been doing work together for quite some time and we've sold many devices.
Of $1,900. Price has always been a barrier to folding devices, and it's definitely still the case here, and it makes it so that even small concessions like these end up having a much stronger sting than
this. So it's honestly overpowered for what it is. I've had no stutter, I've had no lag, it just works. It's also got 12 gigabytes of RAM in this base spec, and if you go for the 1 terabyte version, it comes with 16 gigabytes of RAM.
Not only can you resize them, you can reshape them. They can be whatever shape you want them to be. That's something that other brands should be doing as well. You can sort of tuck it away and
jaded because it takes a back seat to the novelty of the new shape, like a lot of the software stuff. This is the first phone I'm getting to test with One UI 9 on Android 17, so that's why it has this fancy new.
Who knows, but not by much. I say stack it up, make it slightly thicker, and just give people like, hey, you want the kitchen sink? Yes, kitchen sink. Be my guest.